To my good friend, Honorable Kasamba, I've called you Honorable because you at one time aspired to be an elected leader. It rarely goes, but you have to call yourself to a meeting and find a way of shedding it. And even if you do not, you will find yourself the next few days sitting at the back bench. So don't struggle. It will smoothly erode. And you're going to have a new body in terms of how you're going to engage, because there are two things here. One, the governor and the deputy governor and elected have a direct responsibility to the citizens. But in between, there is a public service. And therefore, we are seated here on this red carpet because in between the service and the leadership, there's a public service board, which is the gearbox, and whose responsibility is to move the wheels so that we may move the citizens of Makueni. And therefore, the modus operandi of the governor are completely different from that of yours, those of elected leaders and the citizen. Yours is an interface between the public service and the board to advance the welfare of the workers, so that then the workers may advance the welfare of the citizens. You're going to face challenges that are beyond you in terms of exchequer releases, but since we're experiencing the same in the country, don't you worry, those things will be sorted. Now, what constitutes an independent office? I don't think there is more independent institution in this county than the county assembly. I think we are the most independent. However, when we were considering the nominees from the governor, we were independent. But again, we had to go to the governor and tell him that we can't move, we need 3 more. So there must be consultation, engagement, and cooperation while maintaining the doctrine and the principle of independence. And therefore, that must be checked very well so that again, you don't compromise the independent and be an annexure or an extension of executive. Our last disbursement from the national government was at around 20th or thereabout of December year 2025. That is the November disbursement. We are now in January. So we paid salaries in December as a county government, but we borrowed from banks. So Kioko, Kilu, Kasamba, get used to this. But the problem is bigger because it's not a problem of Makueni county. Every county is struggling in the Republic of Kenya, because how then do you want public officers to execute services when they are not paid rent, when they are not paid school fees, when they cannot afford their medications, and when they cannot afford their basic needs, food, clothing, and their shelter? And therefore, for whoever was referring to two-term, is tied to performance. So whoever is responsible for disbursement, for monies from the national government, taxes that we have collected, remitted to KRA, and KRA from National Treasury, and National Treasury has refused to disburse resources to us as counties. You are not doing us favor. It is constitutional. It's supposed to be monthly or a month ahead to allow counties to plan ahead. We know we have so many contractors who are unable to access their site, and therefore the officers in the department cannot supervise the project, and therefore they are underperforming because they are not able to move from Makueni water to Mtituandei or to Mboni, because they cannot service the car, they can't fuel the car, they can't get the facilitation to move to a project site, and therefore affecting service delivery. I'm calling upon the national government and His Excellency the President that if indeed you value devolution as you claim to, allow monthly or quarterly disbursement of resources to the county government, because we know that we have so much resources. It is unfortunate that we can't get the resources, but over the weekend, we see the resources in cash distributed in villages and under trees, direct disbursement to people. Please have mercy and pity on the people of the Constitution of Kenya, protect them. Let us have resources to all counties to facilitate County Public Service Board and County Public Service and the chief officers to run the service as economic development for our country. Kwa hayo machache na mengi, naomba nifike hapo. Nimeshukuru sana, na sasa hii ni nafasi yangu nimkaribishe